Ever feel like you're just drowning in information overload these days?
Oh, tell me about it. It's like everywhere you turn, there's just another headline, another notification, another article.
Exactly. It can be so overwhelming. But today, we are diving into something different. Some excerpts from a 2024 Murli lesson, and it's all about becoming a Mahavir.
A Mahavir. Now that sounds pretty intense. Like what comes to mind when you hear that?
I'll be honest, I'm picturing a warrior,
Yeah.
someone strong and fearless.
That's a pretty common image. But what's interesting here is we're not talking about fighting battles on some external battlefield. This is about inner strength and finding peace within.
So it's more about self-mastery than conquering others.
Exactly. It's about mastering your own mind and emotions. And the best part is, these excerpts actually give us practical tools to do that. We're not just talking about these big, lofty ideas here. It's about techniques you can actually use in your everyday life.
I like that because, honestly, who doesn't need a little more inner peace these days? So how do we even begin to cultivate this Mahavir within?
Well, the source talks about something called honesty charts and staying in remembrance.
Honesty charts and remembrance, those sound kind of, I don't know, a little abstract.
They do sound a bit like that at first, don't they? But stay with me, because it makes sense when you dig a little deeper.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So think of remembrance as this constant connection to your true self. That part of you that's beyond all the daily noise and worries, the part that's always at peace.
Okay, so it's about tapping into that inner calm.
Yes, and the honesty chart helps you do that. Imagine you have a little notebook, and every time you catch your mind wandering away from that peaceful state, you jot it down. Like, were you stressing about work, comparing yourself to someone on social media, getting caught up in some drama? Whatever it is, you just make a note of it.
So it's like holding up a mirror to your thoughts, seeing where you get stuck.
Exactly. It's about increasing your self-awareness, which is super important if you want to make any real change.
Right, because you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. And how does all of this tie in to being a Mahavir?
Well, remember how we said a Mahavir is like a warrior of the mind? The text talks about facing life's challenges with unshakable inner strength, this constant sense of happiness and freedom from arrogance.
That sounds amazing, but honestly kind of impossible. Like, who can be happy all the time?
Well, it's not about forcing yourself to feel a certain way or denying your emotions. This isn't about toxic positivity. It's about transforming your relationship to those emotions. It's about approaching life from a place of quiet confidence.
Okay, so it's more about finding that inner peace, even when things are tough.
Exactly.
The source also mentions speaking carefully, almost like mindfulness, but for our words. Why is that so important for inner peace?
Because our words hold a lot of power. Think about how much negativity we put out into the world without even realizing it. The gossip, the complaining, even just a simple eye roll, it all creates these ripples.
And not exactly positive ripples.
Right. So the text encourages us to be really intentional with our speech, choosing words that uplift and create harmony.
It's like that saying, think before you speak, but taken to a whole new level.
Exactly.
Now, the text also mentions becoming an aviac angel.
Mhm.
What's that all about? Are we talking about, like, actual angels here?
Not quite. It's not about growing wings or anything, but it is about embodying those angelic qualities. Lightness, positivity, quiet inner strength. Those things we associate with angels.
So it's like an inner transformation rather than an external one.
Precisely.
What really strikes me about all of this is how practical it is. It's not about escaping the world or living in some, like, perfect bubble. It's about changing how we experience the world around us.
Exactly. And one of the points that really resonated with me was the emphasis on surrendering to God, but not out of fear or obligation. It's about surrendering out of love.
That makes a big difference.
It really does. And that surrender combined with consistent effort is what the text suggests as the pathway to success.
It's about trusting in something larger than ourselves while also taking responsibility for our own growth. I really love that.
That too.
Well, this deep dive certainly provided a lot to think about. That idea of an honesty chart, I think I might give that a try.
I've been experimenting with it, and it's amazing what you start to notice about your own thought patterns.
Right. I can imagine. And for me, that idea of becoming an aviac angel, that's really powerful.
Isn't it? It's a beautiful aspiration to carry with us.
It really is. And if you're listening and this piqued your interest, why not delve a little deeper into this whole Mahavir concept?
Yeah.
Maybe try creating your own honesty chart.
See what comes up for you when you think about surrendering to God. It might be different than you expect.
Exactly. There's so many different ways to connect with this. But until next time, keep diving deep.